I thought my house was gone, but it's buried.
It's still here, Paul. I'm bringing it back.
I miss seeing the world from my porch. Why stay? I'm just a stranger to you.
You're a neighbor, Paul, and you matter.
I feel like a man again. Thank you, son.
When Paul looked at me with those watery eyes and told me that I had saved him, I realized that the towering wall of weeds surrounding his White House was much more than just a landscape problem. It was a heavy and suffocating weight on his soul that had been growing for 2 long years, while the rest of the world simply drove past and looked the other way. It is a straight-up gut punch to the soul to witness an 82-year-old man standing on his own porch feeling like a ghost in his own life because he no longer has the physical strength to fight back against the earth. Paul wore his navy blue jacket tightly zipped up, as if to protect himself from the shame of his neglected yard. And seeing his trembling hands as he pointed out the hidden walkway made a fierce fire of determination burn in my chest. He told me that after his heart surgery, he had to choose between his breath and his lawn. And eventually the weeds won the battle until they reached the very windows of his bedroom. The neighborhood had treated him like an invisible man, allowing the tall grass to become a physical barrier between him and the community he helped build decades ago. Hearing him confess that he felt like he was being buried alive by the overgrowth made me realize that my mission today was not about aesthetics. It was about a total restoration of human dignity. As I gripped the handle of my professional brush cutter and pulled the starter cord, the aggressive roar of the engine shattered the stagnant and heavy silence of his isolation like a thunderclap of hope. Every aggressive sweep of my blade through the thick stalks of dry grass and every layer of grime I scraped from the hidden concrete felt like I was physically pulling Paul back into the light of the living. The air began to fill with the sharp and potent scent of cut sap and freshly turned soil. A powerful sensory roadmap that I prayed would tell his weary heart that he was no longer alone in his struggle. I could feel the invisible gaze of the neighbors watching my progress from behind their closed curtains. The same people who had watched Paul struggle for years without ever offering 10 minutes of their time. And it drove me to work even harder to show them what a real neighbor looks like. As the final section of the overgrown path was cleared and the beautiful white facade of the house was fully revealed to the street for the first time in years, the entire property transformed from a neglected ruin into a sanctuary of peace. Paul walked slowly down his newly cleared walkway, his gray sneakers pressing on to the clean and bare concrete, and I watched a fragile and beautiful smile break across his weathered face as the afternoon sun finally touched his porch without the shadows of the weeds getting in the way. I realized in that moment that my life work is not about yard maintenance. It is about saving our forgotten elders from the darkness of neglect and proving to them that their existence still matters to this world. Before you scroll past this, please drop a comment with the city you are watching from, as men like Paul are fighting the silent and terrifying battles of old age and loneliness right now on your very street. If you saw a man whose world was disappearing behind a wall of weeds because he was too weak to fight back, would you have the heart to stop and clear his path back to the community? Like and share this to remind everyone that we do not leave our oldest fighters behind to suffer in the shadows. And today, we finally delivered a bit of hope and light back into Paul's weary heart. Faith in humanity is officially restored, and we are going to keep moving forward until every forgotten soul has a clear path back to the sun. Today, Paul did not just get a clean yard, he got his freedom back and the comforting knowledge that he is seen. He is valued and he is loved by people who were total strangers to him this morning. Seeing him stand tall on his porch was the greatest honor of my career. Knowing he can finally look out his window without the paralyzing shame of the mess is the only reward I will ever need. We showed him that even when you feel completely alone, there is always someone willing to pick up a tool and fight for your dignity. What is the one thing you would do today to make an elderly neighbor feel like they are still a vital part of your neighborhood?